Peace and blessings is real. First and foremost, I want to take this time and give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh through his only begotten Son, Yahweh for allowing this word to come out. I hope you sincere brothers and sisters is edified by this word. And the name of the lesson is called Serving Spiritual Food to Nourish the Souls Who Are Severely Starving. That's right. We're going to name this word Serving Spiritual Food to Nourish the Souls Who Are Severely Starving, man. Those that are hungry. You see, this is going to be a cold-blooded word, man. And see, what you see on the screen, man, this is a beautiful setup when it comes to food. You have plenty of vegetables and fruits. You have protein. You have your water. You also have your whole grain foods, man. This is a textbook perfect example of nourishment of the body. And this is when it comes to the spiritual, it should be the exact same way. But what you have today is something totally different. You have a famine of the word. In other words, you have the good spiritual wholesome food. It's a famine of that. What you have is spiritual junk food. What you have is spiritual fast food, which is unhealthy and non-edifying. That's what we have today. So you have these pastors, these deacons, these preachers, these teachers, even trickling down to these prophets. Okay? What are they doing? They serving bad food to the congregation, man. Okay? At the end of the day, these churches is these pastors, these deacons, these preachers, these teachers, these priests, these prophets, these evangelists. What they're doing is all about shits and giggles. It ain't about nourishment and feeding the hungry souls. It's about shits and giggles and tickling ears, man. And this goes for those in the YouTube world, those that's on the street ministries, the television ministry, the Facebook ministries, and all the other outlets, ministries, man. There's a famine of good spiritual, wholesome food. If I had to apply this screen to what would be nourishment, spiritual nourishment, this is what it looks like right here, man. Beautiful, man. We're going to kick the word off in John 6:35. Words in red by Yahushua. And it says in John 6:35, and Yahushua said unto them, I am the bread of life. He that cometh to me shall never hunger, and he that believeth on me shall never thirst. You see that? So this screen is metaphorically symbolic to Yahushua, the bread of life, and also the thirst. Okay, he's the thirst quencher, and he's the one that you're going to be nourished by. Now, when Yahushua say he's the bread of life, he's the heavenly life supply, celestial nutrient to the souls that they may attain eternal life. You see that? When Yahushua offer himself as the bread of life, bro, you ain't never got to worry about starving. You ain't never worry about being hungry, man. He gonna cover that. You see? In Matthew 4, verse 4, and it reads, Matthew 4:4, and it reads, but he answered and said, it is written, and this is Yahushua again, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of Yahweh. You see that? The most important thing I want you to catch in Matthew 4:4, when Yahushua say, man shall not live by bread alone. See, bread is a symbolic to a round cake. Man can't live by that alone. You see, He needs every word that proceeded out of the mouth of Yahweh. That's what's going to allow your soul to be nourished, man. Yeah. But like I said, you don't have that going on today, man. It's a total famine of the word, man. And a lot of people are tuning in to these church circuits and they not being fed. They're not being fed, man. And I remember when I was going into the church, you understand me? I knew what that was like. I knew it was time for me. I knew that I had outgrew the church because I was still leaving the church hungry. Wasn't no spiritual vegetables and fruits being provided. Wasn't no spiritual proteins being provided. Wasn't no spiritual whole grain foods being provided. It was just junk food and fast food, man. Unhealthy and unedifying foods, which means I left the church starving, man. And a whole lot of others out there is starving, hungry, looking for that word, man, looking for that proper nourishment of the soul. And a lot of people just ain't delivering it, man. In 1 Peter 2:2, it reads, as newborn babes, desire the sincere milk of the word that ye may grow thereby. You see that? What is the milk is it talking about? The milk is talking about is the ABC of the gospel, the 1, 2, 3 simplicity of the gospel, which allows you healthy nourishment to grow spiritually. It says, as newborn babes, the newborn babes would be those that are reborn spiritually. Those are rebirthed spiritually. So when you come into this gospel, you got to get the milk first. You got to get the ABCs. Okay, you got to get that first, just like a newborn baby. He's not born with teeth, so he starts with milk. You see that? You have to crawl before you walk and drink first, then grow some teeth, then you can chew and digest food. That's why it says again, as newborn babes, desire the sincere, pure milk of the word. And like I said, man, these pastors, these deacons, these preachers, these teachers, these prophets, they are serving the people bad food, man. They're not serving them the spiritual vegetables and fruits, the spiritual proteins, the spiritual whole grain foods. They serving them junk food and fast food, man. And that's why people tune into the word and they still hungry because they're not getting fed. Their soul is not being nourished properly, man. In 1 Corinthians 3, verse 2, man, we're going to continue this, man. I mean, I see it all the time. I remember when I was in the church and I would leave the church still hungry because I wasn't getting fed with the word that I needed, man. And right now, the time that we live in today, people are starving for the gospel, especially if it's edifying. And 1 Corinthians 3:2, it reads, I have fed you with milk and not with meat, for hitherto ye were not able to bear it, neither yet now are ye able. You see that? He fed you with milk. What is the milk again? The ABCs of the gospel, the 1, 2, 3 simplicity of the gospel. You see, it says, and not with meat. What would be the meat? The meat would be the solid food, the deeper, more advanced gospel for spiritual adults. You see that? So a babe, think about it. A babe doesn't have teeth, so you can't give him spiritual meat. You got to start him off with milk. But you got a lot of people that attempt to give a babe meat, which means he can't digest that. He can't eat it, man. The meat of the gospel is the solid food, the deeper, more advanced gospel. I'm going to give you an example of meat. The Lord's name. That's meat. That's something most people can't digest that right out the gate. You got to walk them into that. You know, the mark of the beast, which is the RFID chip. That's meat. People ain't gonna be able to understand that. Prophecy, that's meat, man. They not gonna be able to receive that. So you have to start them off with the milk, man. And a lot of these people ain't even giving the congregation milk, man. I mean, this is cold-blooded, man. I mean, in the time that we living in today, If you ain't tuning in trying to get fed with the gospel, then I don't really know what you're doing, man. It's a jungle out here, and I'm telling you, man, if you don't hurry up and get your mind right, especially if you looking for the word and you can't get it, that's even more of a disaster. In John 6:55, words of Yahushua, he says, "For my flesh is meat indeed, and my blood is drink indeed." Look at that, man. Yahushua giving you the simplicity of your nourishment right there. He giving you all the plenty vegetables and fruit, the spiritual fruit and vegetables, the spiritual protein, all of that. He says that my flesh is meat indeed, and my blood is drink indeed. He that eateth my flesh and drinketh my blood dwelleth in me, and I am in him. You see that? There's no way you're going to be starving. There's no way you're not going to be nourished. Your soul not going to be nourished. You see that? But like I said, man, a lot of people ain't leading the people to Yahweh through his only begotten son, Yahushua. They feeding their own bellies. They speaking their own doctrine. Like I said, people want their ears tickled, man. It's shits and giggles, and people want their ears tickled. That's why people go to the church. That's why people tune in to the word, because they want to hear something. They want to hear what they want to hear. But when you start speaking the butt-naked hardcore truth, they're going to turn the page, man, because they can't deal with that. Our church is predicated off truth. We expose our own truths. We probably the only church in Israel that air out our own dirty laundry. We don't have to do that, but we come out and we air out our own dirty laundry, man, because our church is predicated on truth. Name another church that can come out and tell on themselves and still stay strong in the faith, man. Jeremiah 15:16, and it reads, it says, "Thy words were found, and I did eat them, and thy word was unto me the joy and rejoicing of my heart, for I am called by the name, O Lord, Yahweh of hosts," man. You see that? That's spiritual food to nourish the soul, man. Yeah, that's spiritual food to nourish the soul. You ain't gonna never starve, man. You ain't gonna never be hungry. Like I said, man, it's what we should be doing. Those that are in a position that have a platform, okay, to bring this food to the people of Israel, man. We are to serve them. We are to nourish their souls, man, with this food, man. You dig? Now, as we get ready to close out, we're going to close out this word in the book of Psalms, man. 119 verses 103. And we're going to close him out, man. In Psalms 119 and 103, it says, I want to make sure I got that right. I don't think Psalms, that's right. Yeah, Psalms 119 and 103. And it reads, it says, "How sweet are thy words unto my taste, yea, sweeter than honey to my mouth. Through thy precepts I get understanding, therefore I hate every false way." You see that? That's spiritual nourishment of the soul at the highest order, man. That's cold-blooded, man. Let me bring that out one more time. It says, Psalms 119, 103, and 4. "How sweet are thy words unto my taste, yea, sweeter than honey to my mouth." Verse 104, through thy precepts I get understanding, therefore I hate every false way, man. That's cold-blooded, man. I ain't even got to say no more. This is the part where you drop the mic, man. Shalom.